reading from Acts, pages 1343 to 1344. Paul and Silas are put in jail. One day, on our way to the place of prayer, we were met by a slave girl. She had a spirit in her that gave her the power to tell the truth. By doing this, she made a lot of money for her owners. The girl followed Paul and the rest of us and kept yelling, "These men are servants of the Most High God. They are telling you how to be saved." This went on for several days. Finally, Paul got so upset that he turned and said to the spirit, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I order you to leave this girl alone." At once the evil spirit left her. When the girl's owners realized they had lost all chances for making more money, they grabbed Paul and Silas and dragged them into court. They told the officials, "These Jews are upsetting our city. They're telling us to do things we Romans are not allowed to do." The crowd joined in the attack on Paul and Silas. Then the officials tore the clothes off the two men and ordered them to be beaten with a whip. After they'd been badly beaten, they were put in jail, and the jailer was told to guard them very carefully. The jailer did as he was told. He put them deep inside the jail and chained their feet to heavy blocks of wood. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing praises to God while the other prisoners listened. Suddenly, a strong earthquake shook the jail to its foundations. The doors opened and the chains fell from all the prisoners. When the jailer woke up and saw that the doors were open, he thought that the prisoners had escaped. He pulled out his sword and was about ready to kill himself, but Paul shouted, "Don't harm yourself. No one has escaped." The jailer asked for a torch, and he went deep into the jail. He was shaking all over as he knelt down in front of Paul and Silas. After he had led them out of the jail, he asked, "What must I do to be saved?" They replied, "Have faith in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved. This is also true for everyone who lives in your home." Then Paul and Silas told him and everyone else in his house about the Lord. While it was still night, the jailer took them to a place where he could wash their cuts and bruises. Then he and everyone in his home were baptized. They were very glad that they had put their faith in God. After this, the jailer took Paul and Silas to his home and gave them something to eat.
Amen.
This story reminds me that sometimes going against human nature, or the thing that you think you would do, might have a much better outcome. I don't know about you, but if I were locked in a jail cell and all of a sudden they shook open, I don't know about you, but my instinct would be to run the heck out of there. Whee! Free! You know, you're locked up. You want to get out. But by staying there and convincing somehow the other inmates to stay put, and the jailer was so shocked. I mean, this is not what he expected, right? He expected them all to run off there, and he was ready to kill himself because he knew he would have been disgraced. He would not only would he have lost his job, but I mean, he would have probably been severely punished for allowing all these people to escape. But Paul did just the opposite of what our nature would probably tell us. And by his perseverance, hanging in there, and convincing other people to hang in there, look what the outcome was. He not only was able to evangelize to the jailer and his family, but also made an impact on all the people that were there. Today is Mother's Day, and I wanted to share a story with you about a woman who was a mother who didn't have it all that easy when it came to her youngest son. She was an elementary school teacher. At the time, she was living in Colorado. And when her youngest son was 17, her husband died of some form of cancer. Now, she had to deal with it. Of course, it's very difficult when you lose a loved one to any kind of a disease. And her older son was in college at the time. He seemed to be able to make it through. But the younger one got very depressed and started in with the drinking and the drugs. Now, often what we do is when we have somebody in our family, after a tragedy, does something inappropriate, we excuse their behavior. Well, he was the sensitive one. Haven't you heard that one before? He was the sensitive one. He really struggling with his father's death. So we excuse bad behavior, forgetting that you had to deal with it, the older son had to deal with it, but the sensitive one just couldn't do that. And so for years and years and years, it was drugs and alcohol, in and out of jail, always getting into trouble, and then calling Mom. And then Mom would hear the story. And there's something about addicts. They're very good at convincing you that the change is right around the corner, that they're going to do just fine. So they're really con artists. And so it's like, this time, Mom, I've really learned my lesson. Oh, please help me. So she'd help him with his rent. She'd bail him out of jail. She'd take him in sometimes. She'd try to help him get a job. And so finally she realized that she was being an enabler. And so she joined Al-Anon, which is more for families of alcoholics, but it works fine for the addicts as well. And she learned in her Al-Anon group that being an enabler, of bad behavior really does the person no good at all. So he hadn't called her for quite a while. And she always knew that if she got a call late at night, it's usually bad news. She was living in New Mexico at the time. He was still in Colorado. The phone rang just after 10 o'clock. Mom, I got kicked out of my sober living house. And this time, really, I'm not kidding, it's really not my fault. Remember those pills that you filled for me, the ones that were for anxiety? Well, they found all those anxiety pills, and that's on their no-no list, and they kicked me out. And I'm right now at Orlando's church. Now, Orlando was his probation officer. So he handed the phone to Orlando, and Orlando explained to the mother that, yes, this time actually it wasn't his fault about the pills. She was the one that had them refilled, and they were for anxiety, and he got caught